these items that council members have any questions about at this time? These are items that we went over and voted on last week. All right, I'm seeing none, so we'll move on down to ordinances first reading. And these are items, I believe were these all deferred? 1, 2. Yeah, so all these items were deferred. And Councilman Mitchell, you said you had the first two items, you may be asking for another deferral? All right, do that this evening. Councilman Gilbert, are you okay on your item C moving forward? Okay. And he appeared. Would you like to go over that right now, Councilman? John, you're up.
Well,
Welcome.
thank you. Happy
Yeah.
afternoon.
Just to be sure, to give John a moment to get settled, Madam Clerk, would you read item C, please?
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 3439 Lightfoot Mill Road, more particularly described herein from R2 residential zone to M4 outdoor industrial zone.
Councilman Gilbert?
John, I spoke with the man earlier. I told him to speak to your organization to say he's okay with putting a fence around the property to keep people from seeing all the cars. Did we put that on a condition? I want to put that on a condition later on.
City attorney would be happy to draft that as an alternative resolution. As we do anytime there's if there's an alternative change, then what we'll do is the city attorney office will draft that as an alternative. Being sponsored by you as council member, and council can consider that as part of the zoning case.
Yes, it's tonight. I appreciate it.
And I'd be happy to, if you need any help from me on that, I'd be happy to.
Hey, John, can we just do that as a condition, or should we go ahead and have a alternate version drafted?
I think it's always, because you're noting that this is something that's being council-driven, so that's why I think it's always going to have an alternative version, because otherwise it shows planning commission, because otherwise it's, planning commission has currently, I think it's recommended as M4, as I'm not mistaken, with staff, and I think council's doing a change to add a condition to it. So, I'll defer to Wade on that, if he.
Do you have enough time to get an alternate version on?
Yeah, I think it's just adding the one condition. That's not an issue.
Okay.
So, all right, if you could provide me with that condition, just send it over to Maria
I'll email it
as soon
to
as
you.
possible. Okay, great.
So again, just to restate, it's to ensure that there's a privacy fence around the periphery of the property to screen it.
Yes, sir.
Got it?
Thank you.
All right, good, Councilman?
Yes.
All right. Madam Clerk, resolutions 7A, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic and Community Development, Division of Outdoor Chattanooga, to enter into a contract with Civic Plus, Inc. for a management software system that will facilitate online reservations and payments for city parks, facilities, and outdoor Chattanooga programs in the amount of $28,375.
All right, seeing no questions, B, please.
A resolution authorizing the Director of Human Resources to enter into an agreement with the Hartford to provide long-term disability insurance at the rate of 48 cents per $100 of covered salary and a Family Medical Leave Act leave management systems at the rate of $1.85 per member per month, and will offer city employees voluntary short-term disability insurance for a one-year term with 2 one-year renewal options in the amount of $820,000.
All right, next item, please.
A resolution authorizing the Director of Human Resources to enter into an agreement with Unum Group to provide group life insurance at the rate of .119 per $1,000 of covered salary and accidental death and dismemberment A&D insurance at the rate of .019 per $1,000 of covered salary, and will offer city employees voluntary life and AD&D insurance for a one-year term with 2 one-year renewal options in the amount of $505,000.
All right, seeing no questions, D, please.
A resolution authorizing the Chief Information Officer to execute a blanket contract with Smart System, also known as Smart Homes of Chattanooga, to be providers of video and audio system products and services per supplier catalog for the period of 1 year beginning May 16, 2018 through May 17, 2019, with the option to extend for 2 additional years for an amount not to exceed $250,000 per contract year.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Yeah, I've got a budget question for that, and Mara, this may be for you. I'm not sure. If we vote on something that's before we've approved the next year's budget,
Yes, ma'am.
this is a contract that were it not, because we can't abrogate contract. So this would have to be money they already have in case the budget didn't go through, right?
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so do you already have that money?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Moving on to D, please.
A resolution to confirm the mayor's appointment of Michael Stroke to the Tree Advisory Commission.
All right, see no lights. We have no departmental reports, which means at this time, we're going to move into Public Works and Transportation Committee with Chairman Mitchell.
Can I get approval of minutes? All those in favor say aye. Let's start with transportation today. Oh, I'm sorry, Justin. Blythe, come on down.
I did ask Blythe if he would like to go first.
Well, apparently he does. Thank you. Thanks for taking care of that for me, Justin. Let's start with first reading ordinances, transportation this week. That would be 6D.
An ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of the 500 block of Stringer Street as detailed on the attached map.
Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Blythe, is my understanding at the request of this applicant that they withdraw their request, which would have to obviously be done through council action. So I do plan on bringing a motion to withdraw this application this afternoon at 6.
You got anything to say about that, Mr. Bailey?
I did not meet directly with the individual, but I understand that that was their request. And I think they also made that request to the planning staff. Where'd Mr. Bridger go? Oh. He did request that the case be withdrawn, correct? This is the Stringer Street abandonment.
I'm going to make a motion to withdraw.
Yes, sir.
That's this evening.
That's this evening.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions about that? If not, please read 6E.
An ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of the 7300 block of McClutchin Road to allow for private development as detailed on the attached map, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Ledford, you okay with this? All right, thank you. Let's move to resolutions, transportation resolutions for this week. That would be 7G.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Transportation to enter into an agreement with Reagan Smith Associates relative to contract number T-15-014-101 for professional services associated with the Woodmore Safe Routes to School Midland Pike Sidewalk Project in the amount of $31,000 with a contingency amount of $3,100 for a total amount of $34,100.
Councilman Gilbert, I don't see your light, but would you mind if I ask a question?
Go ahead, sir.
What are we doing here, Mr. Bailey?
This is a Safe Routes to School grant, where we are, those grants have two components, an infrastructure piece and a non-infrastructure piece. The non-infrastructure piece is basically working with the schools to help educate kids on how to walk to school safely. And the infrastructure piece is usually sidewalks. Sometimes it can be things beyond that. In this project, we're building sidewalks on Midland Pike through the grant from Woodmore Lane to Carruthers Road, almost to Moore Road.
That sounds great. Seeing no further questions, please read 7H.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Transportation to enter into an agreement with ASA Engineering and Consulting, Inc. relative to contract number T14002 for professional services associated with the construction, engineering, and inspection of retroreflectivity sign project for various city streets in Chattanooga in the amount of $47,084.07 with a contingency amount of $7,062.61 for a total amount of $54,146.68.
Okay, I see no questions. Everybody okay? Okay, let's move on to next week. It looks like we have one resolution, transportation. That would be 7D.
A resolution authorizing the appointments of Rima Harris, Tyler Lowe, and Desiree Turner as special police officers unarmed for the Chattanooga Area Regional Transportation Authority to do special duties as prescribed herein, subject to certain conditions.
That'll do it, Mr. Bailey.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Holland. We'll start with this week. It looks like the first thing we have is a resolution. 7F, please.
A resolution authorizing the approval of change order number 1 final for PF Moon and Company, Inc. of West Point, Georgia, relative to contract number W12016201, Cityco CSTOF and Pump Station Improvements, a consent decree project for an increased amount of $72,439.15 for a revised contract amount not to exceed $2,385,439.15, and to release the remainder contingency amount of $157,560.85.
All right, I see no questions. So I guess we'll move on to next week's 7B, please.
A resolution authorizing the award of contract number Y17017-201 to JDH Company, Inc. of Chattanooga, Tennessee, replacement roofing system for John A. Patton YFD Center Building in the amount of $314, oh God. I can't.
You got it.
In the amount of $314,305, with a contingency amount of $30,000 for an amount not to exceed $344,205.
Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, sir. Justin, when do we anticipate work to begin on this roof?
I can get you the schedule. Let me staff that, make sure I know the date that the contractor anticipates starting. I can email it to you.
Is it in his contract, the date he would start, or?
So we would have the contract approved and then begin working on a schedule. So the first step is to do this, and then we will work on a schedule.
Okay, so the start date's not in the contract. It would follow.
I don't believe I don't believe the start date has been established.
Okay. Could you get back with me?
I will.
Thank you.
I'll get back with you this afternoon.
Okay. Please read 7C.
A resolution authorizing the approval of change order number 1 final for Raines Brothers, Inc. of Chattanooga, Tennessee, contract number R17002-201 Middle Streets Office renovation project for an increased amount of $2,469 to release the remaining contingency amount of $15,831 for a revised contract amount of $185,629.
Councilman Oglesby.
Yeah, Justin, could you give me a little history about this again, please?
Sure. This is a Middle Street. It's a building that was formerly one of the Foundry buildings where the River Park, the new extension of the River Park, was constructed. It was value engineered out of the project from the completion of the River Park. So we have partnered with the county to renovate the entire interior of the building, and our Parks Division, a portion of our Parks Division, is housed there now. The change order and the final change order here is related to a few items that were adjustments during construction. With the addition, I think the largest addition was a ladder to a safety ladder to the attic portion of the building. I guess we would call it like a loft portion of the building, and a few modifications to doorways.
will this complete the project?
It does. This is a final change order, sir, and closing out the project, and it was within budget. It just used a bit of the contingency dollars. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Seeing no more questions, I believe this is the end of the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Chair, so we all can get our books.
Called to order the Budget and Finance Committee meeting. Well, there aren't any minutes. This is the first one of the rest of your lives, so next time we can do that. So we begin budget season, and what we have done is established the schedule for all our budget education sessions. I guess the high point that I want the public to know is between now and June 12th, the council will be getting educated on the budget, all the budget issues. The budget is going to go online today so that we have complete transparency. You're seeing it when we see it. We haven't received the budget yet. But it's very important that we get ourselves educated on the various items in the budget and how they relate to our strategic plan, the council, to bring better service to our constituents. So we'll be having a series of education sessions that are in the council, the small council meeting room, just to educate ourselves. None of our meetings are closed, whether it's budget or anything else. Our 1:30 strategic planning meeting is open. Our 3 o'clock, this is open. Our 6 o'clock is open. And for the next several weeks, from 10 to 2, or in one case, 3, we'll be getting educated, and you can get educated along with us. However, your questions should go to your specific council representative. We're getting ourselves up to snuff so that we can answer your questions, the people we represent. So while we're getting educated, these aren't open sessions for question and answer from the public. That being said, on June 12th at 6 o'clock, the council will have a public input meeting, a public hearing on the budget, so that we hear from you as well. This is open to the public. We hope that any questions you have that haven't already been answered by your representatives will be answered then. Anything else, though, that you want heard, we will be giving time on the 12th. So please mark that. Today, we're going to be getting the official presentation from administration, an overview of the operational and capital budget. This isn't a question and answer. This is the broad, the macro view of what we're going to be doing, and then we're going to start doing the deep dives starting next week. So without anything further, Daisy, are you or Mara? Mara, will you be presenting? Oh, we've got a tag team.
Yes.
It's all yours.
Thank you. Ready to go. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Madam Chair. And members of council, thank you. I'm Mara Black Sullivan. I'm your Chief Operating Officer for the City of Chattanooga. And Daisy.
I'm Daisy Madison, Chief Financial Officer for the City of Chattanooga.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to present this budget to you today. We appreciate your time and attention, and I know that you are just waiting with bated breath to get your book, so we'll try to make this overview as quick as we can, but we do want to at least give you some table setting and to the members of the public as well. This budget is a product of a great deal of hard work by our staff, invaluable ideas and contributions from this council, and many ideas and months of public input and community engagement. The budget we present today mirrors the values and priorities of our community and serves as a terrific roadmap for the future.
This will be our 5th budget, prepared using the budgeting for outcome approach. I wanted to give the council a brief refresher on how the BFO process works. It is a 6-step process that begins with establishing Chattanooga's priorities, which we believe to be creating stronger neighborhoods, creating safer streets, creating smarter students, stronger families, creating a growing economy, and creating stronger neighborhoods. For this budget, we acted on a suggestion that was made by this council, and we included an added component to the resident engagement piece. We had a series of budget meetings in the communities during the months of November and December. We heard great feedback from the people who participated in those community meetings, and that feedback helped us to shape the budget priorities in this year's budget. The next step is to determine how many dollars are available to spend on each results area. City departments and outside agencies write proposals, we call them offers, about how they can help us achieve our results. This year, we received 196 offers and are funding 153 of those offers. The offers are ranked by teams, and the team members include city leadership, a budget analyst, 3 department administrators, and 2 volunteer community members. After a final review with the budget leadership team and the mayor, the budget is finalized for the council review. Once an offer receives funding, we monitor their performance closely to make sure that they are delivering the results that they promised to the people of Chattanooga.
Dan, you mind going forward one? It is not working for me. Thank you. Our continued investments in these various areas. This budget was crafted, as I said, through months of public engagement and is rooted in a clear set of community values. As you'll see, we continue to advance the safety, prosperity, and livability of every neighborhood in Chattanooga. This budget focuses on balancing positive economic growth with a need to protect affordability and help our city's homeless population. We continue to expand our workforce and develop the employability of all of our residents. It enhances, this budget enhances parks, thoroughfares, and public spaces that belong to all Chattanoogans. It invests in the health and safety of our young people, particularly children in high-risk neighborhoods. We are honoring our commitments to our employees and retirees and work every day to make Chattanooga the city as a city of an employer of choice for high-quality talent. To maximize public resources, we focus relentlessly on measuring our government's performance and service delivery. We are realistic about our challenges, we're optimistic about our opportunities, and we are ambitious in our goals for our city's future.
In many ways, the city we are creating is stronger than ever, and we see the results every day. Our population is growing steadily. We are enjoying historic lows in poverty and unemployment. We're creating jobs twice as fast as the national economy, and criminal activity is steadily declining. Of course, this is not a time to declare victory. Our city faces some big decisions about how we can best build on this momentum. More than anything, the budget we present today is about understanding those choices and charting a path forward.
Some of our challenges, as you see on the slide there. As we explained last year, our sources of revenue continue to dwindle in ways that are beyond our control. These include our shared sales tax on food and the hall income tax. Local governments across Tennessee continue to feel the impact of the phase-out of the hall income tax, and the city of Chattanooga is no exception. This source of revenue will be eliminated by 2021. Revenues from state sales tax will also decline precipitously because of the tax on food sales that was eliminated by the state legislature last year. Fortunately for Chattanooga, though, we keep collecting more local option sales tax because our economy is so strong. But we know, with other funds being cut, that we have to spend every dollar as best we can.
We continue to remain focused on results that matter to the people of Chattanooga. We take very seriously our responsibility to deliver services that residents demand and deserve, within our obvious limited resources, of course. Our goal today is over the next several weeks is to be fully transparent about the challenges and opportunities we face together as we determine how to best spend the public dollars. Last year, you approved the lowest tax rate in the last 60 years. Once again, this mayor's budget allows us to meet our obligation without increasing the tax burden on our residents and small business owners. This year's estimated general fund revenue is $262 million, 3.4% increase over last year. Next slide. Next, okay. Briefly, let me explain how this budget is being funded. As the chart shows, the primary source of revenue is property taxes. It represents approximately $150.7 million, or 57.5% of the total general fund budget. State and local sales taxes make up 26% of the budget, or $67 million in total revenue sources. So these sources, sales tax and property taxes, combined represent nearly 83% of the total general fund budget. Sorry.
Next slide, please, Dan. There we go. So the next step in our BFO process is to allocate all of that beautiful revenue to our available results areas, as we mentioned before. This year's Safer Streets is our largest results area, as it has been in the past, and it will make up 52% of the budget. The others are roughly the same as they have been in the past. So now that you've seen where our monies will be allocated, let's take a deeper dive into those strategic investments. Next slide, please. Before we do that, though, I have to take a special moment, if you would please, to recognize all the people who have worked on this budget. I want to thank our city staff, the budget staff, who has worked tirelessly to make this happen. And to the community members, the city administrators, other staff members who took their time to be on results area teams. It is a tireless and selfless task, and we appreciate you so much. If you've ever served on a results team, would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you. Thank you all very much.
I'm going to take a little liberty here. I'm sorry I didn't say it, but I want the MBA staff, who are the most hard-working people in the city of Chattanooga, to all stand and be recognized with those big books in their hands. Okay. Thank you, guys. Let's take a look at Safer Streets. We are committed to creating safer, more peaceful Chattanooga through the office funded in the Safer Streets results area. This budget invests in an all-time staffing high of 500 for our police department. That staffing level allows us to take advantage of the other key investments we have already made with projects such as our Real-Time Intelligence Center, the Violence Reduction Initiative, and our Victim Services Unit. We hope to continue to see the success of these programs that we have experienced over the last few years. Continuing the success of our violence reduction initiative by helping former offenders navigate the services and opportunities they need to safely and productively reenter society. Maintaining full staffing level in our Chattanooga Fire Department, ensuring their ability to respond rapidly to emergencies throughout the city and maintain their ISO rating of 1, the highest possible rating, one that is shared by only 1/2 of 1% of the departments in the country. I don't get anything? Okay. Federal funding for 14 firefighters expire next fiscal year. These positions will be moved to the general fund, which has increased our costs substantially. However, it allows us to maintain full staffing for the first time in the history of the fire department. In addition, we're investing in the safety of our first responders with new replacement and apparatus gear.
Thank you, Daisy. Dan, would you go to the next one for Stronger Neighborhoods? There we are. In our Stronger Neighborhoods results area, we have heard from our residents at budget sessions that our strong economy is enhancing the lives of most Chattanoogans, but people at the bottom of the income scale are struggling more than ever. Through our Stronger Neighborhoods results area, this budget demonstrates our commitment to giving every Chattanoogan the opportunity to live in a safe, vibrant neighborhood connected by streets, sidewalks, and trails that encourage a variety of transportation modes. Methodical, collaborative strategies to preserve affordability and end homelessness are an exceptional focus in this budget, as we recognize the need to balance economic growth with housing security. Our budget invests in protecting the affordability of Chattanooga's neighborhoods through the establishment of Chattanooga's first affordable housing trust fund. Infrastructure that includes $6 million in street paving and infrastructure sidewalks improvements. That's $6 million, which is up $1 million from last year. Money is also needed to enhance livability and community pride, and therefore we've created the Neighborhood Reinvestment Fund to address that. And, yeah, what she said. And funding for ideas that will come out of our new Interagency Council on Homelessness, because we've seen the number of Chattanoogans affected by homelessness in and around our city.
Next is our high-performing government results area. While state and federal legislatures continue to place strenuous demands on local government, we remain devoted to delivering fair, efficient, and effective services to the citizens of Chattanooga. The long-term fiscal health of your local community is strong. Our commitments to employees and retirees are secure, and local tax rates are lower now than they have been in the last 6 decades. Specifically, this budget calls for investments in retaining our employees through a fair and equitable pay raise, keeping up with our obligations to all employees through meeting our benefit contributions, and delivering best-in-class racial equity training to all city employees.
All right, smarter students, stronger families. Thank you, Dan. In this results area, you will see funding in our budget that sustains our successful investments in Chattanooga's children and families by increasing our support of our early childhood programs, particularly in high-risk areas of our city. Our citywide network of Head Start cities, Head Start centers, youth and family development centers, our YFD centers, and our public libraries provide myriad enrichment and learning opportunities for young people in every corner of our city. Our landmark Baby University program continues to help young mothers create lives of health, success, and personal and professional growth. This budget invests in the health, safety, and quality of life of young children, particularly those born in high-risk zip codes, by expanding our Baby U program. It provides more chances for families to put their children in high-quality early learning so they will be ready for kindergarten on day one. And as a result from public input, we're bringing back a successful public works program from years past that will employ area teens for the summer, starting this year from area high schools. Some of the people in this audience today, I believe, started their careers thanks to this opportunity. Would anyone like to raise their hand and acknowledge that? If you worked in that program in years past?
I noticed our city attorney raised his hand. Good. Last but not least, we intend for this budget to sustain rapid growth of our local economy in a responsible and sustainable way. This budget invests in the diverse entrepreneurs and small business owners that make Chattanooga's economy one of the most enviable in the country, incentivizing the creation, expansion, and retention of businesses, specifically along strategic, high-potential corridors and neighborhoods throughout our city, complements ongoing efforts to help our largest local employers thrive. We can make this happen through strategic investments in workforce development partnerships with entities such as Chattanooga State Community College, the Urban League, the Enterprise Center, and many others. Advancing the future of our downtown innovation district by activating our public space and reimagining several underutilized properties such as the City Hall Annex building. Supporting the work of the Tennessee Board of Regents alongside Hamilton County to provide middle-class opportunities for all of our residents. Investing nearly $6.5 million in renewable energy projects at the Moccasin Bend wastewater treatment plant and pump stations throughout the city, which will improve resilience and lower operating costs.
All right, let's look at some enterprise funds, and then we'll get to an expenditure overview for you. Enterprise funds, we have several in the city, but we're going to focus in this overview on two of the major enterprise funds, and those are the water quality and sewer operations funds. Both of these provide vital services to all Chattanoogans. And Dan, if you'll go forward once for me. And that'll show you some dollars and cents on the major enterprise funds. The Water Quality Fund, which you see on your left there, the Water Quality Fund is used to comply with federal regulations requiring the city to manage stormwater runoff. The revenues for this fund are derived from a combination of ratepayer and land disturbance permit fees. The budget as presented that you'll see in your book does include an updated rate proposal. That proposal is currently in front of the Stormwater Board. Once they've voted, then we'll present that in full to the council. The Interceptor Sewer Fund is on the right-hand side, the Interceptor Sewer System Fund. You'll hear us call that the ISS Fund a lot of times. This fund accounts for activities related to the city's wastewater and sanitary sewer systems. Expenditures from this fund support the Moccasin Bend wastewater treatment plant and our regional wastewater collection systems. The operation is funded entirely by fees. That 2019 budget will be $99.6 million. It does include a rate increase that you'll see proposed here of 6%. But that 6%, it should be noted, is down from the 9.8% that we had previously scheduled and shared with you. These dollars are necessary to maintain compliance with the federal consent decree.
Okay, next slide. As you can see, most of our focus has been on the general fund. In addition to the $262 million in the general fund budget, this budget that you will receive later includes operations costs of 12 other funds that are listed in front of you, creating a total citywide operations budget of over $490 million, of which 36.6 is for one-time operating capital cost. Also presented to you today will be a capital budget totaling $152.8 million, for a grand total of operations and capital budgets of $642.8 million. Okay, so I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your attention and your involvement so far in the creation of the city's financial plan. Our administrators and budget staff look forward to answering your questions in the upcoming education sessions.
Yes, it's that time. Your budget documents will be distributed to you momentarily. Tim Moreland has texted me a few moments ago and said that his finger is literally hovering over the button to push it, and the documents will be online as well. So Tim, if you're listening, go right ahead. Everything that we've shared with you, as I said, will be posted on the city's website momentarily as well.
I've
Yes,
had a
ma'am.
question to go back one slide.
Sure, absolutely.
Councilman Henderson, did you have a question? Okay. Is there any?
And this presentation will be available for you as well. I think it might even be printed in the books. No, but it's on the website. It's on the website. All right.
Go ahead. We
Great.
interrupted
Thanks. All right. So this, as I said, your budget books will be given to you in a second, and your and this will all be online for everyone to see. And I want to close this presentation in the same place that we began. This is a budget that is focused on delivering results for Chattanooga. It is based entirely on the priorities and needs that have been articulated to us through a process that is designed for complete transparency, accountability, and public engagement. The investments that we call for here maintain the excellent level of services that Chattanoogans expect and sustain our progress while extending more opportunities for prosperity, safety, and livability to more corners of our city. The work we've been doing in the community is paying dividends. These investments allow for more opportunity for our city of creators to thrive. We look forward to working with you in the weeks ahead, and with that, we will distribute your books.
We've had a request for this PowerPoint.
Yes.
Is that, may we get that? And also, is this PowerPoint going to be up online?
Yes, ma'am, it will.
Would you put on the 12th, would you add, that's the time of the public hearing?
Great idea. Sure
Thank
will.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, at 6
And we'll add
o'clock.
the 6 p.m. time. 6 p.m. or 5:30 p.m.?
6.
We'll do it.
We'll do our business before that. Anything else from council? Otherwise, we're going to get the notebooks.
And if I may, Ms. Simone White is going to explain in general terms the outline of the notebook, so you'll know how to maneuver through it really quickly.
That's fine, go ahead.
They're going to pass them out. Thank you, guys.
So as you get these beautiful books, you should receive two. There's a big book with all the money in there, and there is a smaller book which will be provided with council highlights. So in that smaller book, you'll have departments, the main general departments, and under each tab, you'll get highlights about the department itself, some of their major highlights of what's going on in their budget, as well as some pretty graphs and other things like that. In your major big book, if you open that up, you have all the major points of, we have a draft ordinance in there. We also have a major tab for revenues, appropriations, and then we have a fund summary. Once you go behind the fund summary, you will find department tabs as well as those other funds, and under each tab, they'll give you the numbers for each one of those departments as well. And that's basically it. oh, sorry about the capital. And at the very last tab, there's the capital budget with a overview of by results area, and then you'll see the numbers with that, and then following that is the 5-year plan. Now that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that presentation, all of you. I know a lot of hard work went into it, and we're very appreciative of the fact that citizens had the ability to be part of this. And that was a question, that was a request from last year, that citizens be part of the deliberations in order to devise this budget. And thank you so much for making that happen. And thanks to all the citizens, either here or on camera, who have been part of this. We appreciate it. With that, this ends the Budget and Finance Committee meeting for today. I think there's nothing else on the agenda, so we will see everybody at 6 o'clock. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Yeah, Lord.
Is it going to be online? I just want you to add on the online. I think they wanted it to put in their list, but online, I wanted the public to see when the public. Do y'all want copies of it? Yes, he does.